too. Y'all awake tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Because God created sex, you know what that means, right? It means that it is also a sign which is to point us to who? It's supposed to point us to him. So the pleasure that we derive from sexual experiences in the marriage context are ultimately supposed to point us forward to a God who has created us to enjoy pleasurable things. One of our problems, and we'll get to this later on, not in tonight's presentations, but one of our problems is when we lose sight, this is good. When we lose sight of eternity, we began to believe that the earthly pleasures we are experience are the absolute or the greatest, which means that I began to deify the sexual experience, and I believe this is the greatest experience ever. But what am I saying about heaven when I think like that? What am I saying about eternal life when I think like that? What am I saying about Revelation chapter 21, which says God will wipe away all tears, living in a world where there is no more sadness, sorrow, crying, or dying? I'm saying that a sexual encounter here on earth is better than to be living in the earth made new. Think of the ludicrousy of that. I'm saying that having a mortal body that is in the process even now of decaying and dying is better than having an immortal body and having immortality. That is the epitome of short-sightedness. And this is what Satan wants us to do. We'll talk about that later on. But sign glory, remember, it points us to God. Ultimate glory, on the other hand, is the kind of glory that satisfies the heart. Ultimate glory is what we experience when we are in right relationship or in oneness with God. Okay? Ultimate glory is what we experience when the sign does its job and points us to God and we go towards him and experience him. Then we have fullness of joy. We have or experience ultimate glory. In Isaiah chapter 42, verse 8. Now, this is a powerful text because what it does is it demonstrates this, dear friends. As long as you and I are in pursuit of sex or money or any other thing, expecting that it will do what only God can do for us, then it means that we are having or we are involved or engaged in a controversy with God himself. I remember when I was growing up, we had people in the neighborhood that were big. I mean, they were like big. They were bigger than normal. We go to the elementary school, but these dudes look like they need to be in high school or in college. Big guys, right? And so the thing was, nobody wants to mess with these dudes because it's like, hey, you can't beat them. You can't beat them. Why would you even think about it? So these dudes didn't even have to fight because it was known by everyone that nobody could beat them. You just weren't big enough. Here's a clue, friends. When it comes to being in a controversy with God, you're not going to win. Why fight? Why fight when you know that you are never going to come out a winner? Isaiah chapter 42, verse 8, God says, I am the Lord. I am who?
The Lord.
I am the Lord. That is my name, and my glory will I what? Will I not give to another, neither my praise to what? Or to, that means to idols. That means things that cannot do for you what I can do for you. God says, I'm not going to allow those things to have my glory. I'm not going to allow those things to have my praise. So if I've deified sex, if I've deified money, if I've deified relationships, if I've deified possessions, God says that means that you and I are in conflict.